Good afternoon and welcome to a webinar from Linköping University. Today we would like to say congratulations to our newly admitted students. I'm here with two current students and we're going to tell you a bit more about the practical side of your journey here really. You've got some great tips, you've done this, so we're going to try and give you as much information as possible so that you feel that you're kind of safe in knowing that you're doing the right things. Before I start, a few housekeeping things. Ask your questions in the Q&A section. I've got two colleagues behind the scenes helping answer questions. So put your questions there, but they're also going to filter through questions that we will answer for you live after this session. We're going to talk for about 20 minutes or so. And the part where we're talking, we will record and put on the website in case you want to watch it again. So hi to those who are watching the recording. So we'll talk and then we'll answer your questions. I think that's quite clear, isn't it? Let's start with introducing my guests. Would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. First of all, I would like to say to them congratulations for being admitted and also welcome to Linköping University and also welcome to Linköping City. My name is Hiba. I'm a second-year master student in Science for Sustainable Development, and I'm in my last semester, so I'm writing my thesis. And I'm from Egypt. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Yannick. I'm studying aeronautical engineering here. I'm in my second semester at the moment, so I'm here about 6-8 months now. So yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant. And you're from Hamburg, so not too far from Sweden, so northern part. And you're from
Egypt.
Cairo.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Cairo.
Brilliant.
Close to the pyramids.
Yeah. But you haven't travelled that far, but you've travelled quite far. How come you chose Linköping University? I mean, what attracted you?
The first thing was a program. For me, I found it's the best program for me because it's mixing between different things, the natural science and also the social science. And the second thing was to come and live in a small city like Linköping, because living in Cairo, the population there is almost more than 10 millions there. Millions, sorry. Yeah. So we are too many.
Yeah, so same population as the whole of Sweden.
Exactly.
So it's quite a big difference.
Yeah, so I wanted to be in a quiet place and live a very quiet and calm life. So I decided to come to Linköping. Yeah.
And you haven't quite downsized from a 10 million city, but still a big city.
Yeah, true. No, for me it was that I wanted to study a very specific program, and I looked all around Europe for what I wanted to do. I didn't really want to leave Europe because I still wanted to be somewhat close to home that I could travel back. And yeah, so I applied to a lot of different universities, but LiU was among them, and in Sweden it was my top choice, just because of the program. And also the practical approach to, that was Sweden kind of is known for, to some especially more theory-focused subjects, and that was what I was missing in Germany at my university before that. So that's why I wanted to kind of try something different, and I think I found it here.
Good. And you can now get the train.
Oh yes,
the night train.
Directly.
There's a new service, exactly, from I think it goes from Stockholm through Linköping, but you can go directly. You have always been able to go to Copenhagen, but you can go directly to Hamburg and then on to Berlin.
Yeah, I already did that over Christmas.
Oh,
it
did
was
you?
Quite nice, yeah.
Oh, good. And you can get a flight from Linköping to Amsterdam, and Amsterdam to Cairo?
Yes, exactly. Yeah? But now there is a direct flight from Egypt to here directly. To
Linköping?
To Linköping on Nile Air. Yeah, so it's only about 5 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, duration is amazing.
It's brilliant. So a little bit about how to get here. But when you were admitted, so you were admitted 2 years ago, and you were admitted 1 year ago. Exactly. What kind of went through your mind? Did you think, oh, I need to start preparing this or that? I mean, what do you think? What did you think?
Okay, so for me, I knew from the beginning that I will travel this year, and I'm sure I would be admitted because I have been admitted for the past 4 years or something, but I was looking for a scholarship. But at the end, I said, okay, if I didn't get the scholarship this year, I will travel anyway. So I was preparing for it very early before it comes. But once I get the admission results, I started to apply for the visa. But before I apply for the visa, the first thing that came to my mind is to pay the tuition fees because it's very important to be able to apply for the visa. So that was the first thing that I have done once I got the results. And once I received the invoice, I applied for the visa, and then I started to do the other practical things, like to look for the flight tickets and also the accommodation. So I would say also I booked my accommodation in April or May. Yeah.
So you actually found something that early. You didn't just register for housing. You actually found something.
I found something on Hemestaden, and the good thing with Hemestaden is that for the international student, you don't need to have a queue system. And if you know about the queue system, where you need to count or collect numbers or points every day. So with Hemestaden, there is no need for that. So if you are international, then you get like you are in the first in the row, you get it.
Okay.
So for me, it was good. The first one that I chose, I got it, and that's it. It was so easy for me.
Brilliant, brilliant. Sounds like you had a smooth journey. What about you?
For me, the first thing was looking when I needed to get here, because I was working at the time. So I knew that, like, when do I have to, how do I plan my holidays for the year? That was my first thought. And then I looked into housing a bit. I already signed up for the queues in Heimstaden, and then I kind of started thinking about where do I want to live? When do I want to get the apartment and stuff like that? So yeah, and then I also, like, for me as a European citizen, it was healthcare. How does it work? How do I get it? And it turned out a bit more complicated than I thought, and that took a lot of the summer for me to get that figured out.
Really? So not just a European health card?
Yeah, that would have worked, but the thing is, as soon as you move out of Germany, you officially are not registered with the state healthcare anymore. And to kind of figure out, like, can I stay in this German healthcare system? Like, how does it work? Because of course I wanted to make sure that I'm still insured. And because, like I said, if I move away from Germany, I'm not insured anymore. But I'm also not here in Sweden, so just to make sure that everything on that side. And that needed some clarification with the health insurance, and that took a bit of time to get that straightened out.
Because you, as a fee-paying student, you get health insurance from the Swedish state
but this is once I get the personal number, which is the identification number. But before that, through my program, I have like the eligibility to get a medical insurance once I pay my tuition fees until I get the personal number. So it was kind of included, so but of course, only for the emergencies, not for everything.
No. You've both touched upon some really important parts. Where to start? But to kind of recap, so you started, both signed up for accommodation. So you should really do that. Everybody should have a look at Studentbostäder and Heimstaden. And Studentbo, and if you're in Norrköping, you're actually guaranteed accommodation if you're admitted to a program that's offered in Norrköping. So definitely have a look at that and get in touch with them. So sign up with the housing companies. The housing companies, especially Stångåstaden, they have 1 queue point per day. So the longer you've been in the queue, the more points you accumulate. And you have to sign in every 6 months to be able to keep your place in the queue. But have a look on our accommodation pages. There's also, when you apply for housing and they offer it to you and they say, well, you have the most points for this accommodation, do you want it? You can only say no 5 times in 1 year, I think. So there are rules that you do need to be aware of so you don't fall into a trap. So the accommodation thing, and then pay your tuition fee. You do need to do that by the 15th of May. But once you've paid that, you can start with the application for your student visa, your residence permit, and you do that. The best way is online, but have a look at the migration agency, and I think you might have to go to the embassy in your country to kind of get things validated.
Once you receive the decision at the end.
Yeah. That's what.
But before that, you do everything online. It was very comfortable for me.
It was good, yeah.
But sorry, the thing that they need to think about is to read all the instructions carefully and to upload all the documents that is recommended or asked for. So don't miss any document, because once you miss any document, then your application will be delayed. Then you might not arrive on time to attend the roll call.
Yeah. So this is really important. Check with the migration agency, follow the instructions, make sure you have everything, because the next point then is the roll call. The roll call is mandatory, and we can't stress this enough that you must be here for the roll call. So you go to liu.se/admitted. On that page you will be able to find your program. So you kind of select the program you're admitted to, and on that page you will see the time, the date, and the place for your roll call. And the roll call, what were the roll calls like?
For me, I was, of course, in the science and engineering department. Everybody met in a huge lecture hall, and then we got general information about how it's going to proceed and just basic information, really. And then we were split up into smaller groups, I think about 2 or 3 programs together, and then we went into separate rooms, and then the actual roll call happened. They counted down, like everybody, they went through a list, and you had to say, yes, I'm here, and essentially that. And after that, we had fika and got more specific information about how to register for courses, how LiSAM works, and all like the inner workings of student life that are really needed in the first couple of days.
I would say the same for me, but maybe they just asked us to introduce ourselves, so to get to know each other as well. And they introduced.
So you were just with your program?
Yeah,
Yeah.
only with my program, yeah. And the program coordinator gives some information about the whole program and what are the courses and what we're going to do in each semester and so on. So, but it was basically about to introduce yourself and to confirm that you are attending the program, and also that you're presenting and you are saving your place.
Yeah.
So it's more about that.
So it's basically, that is how you confirm and accept your place in a way. And if you're not here for the roll call, your name will be struck off. You won't be able to commence your program. Also with the tuition fee, it needs to be paid, well, obviously, before the 15th of May. But again, if for some reason the migration agency, you don't get your permit in time, you must know that refund applications will not be processed after the roll call. So again, you need to kind of be sure and know what you're doing and what your specific circumstances are before the roll call. Yeah, so accommodation, roll call. We'll talk a bit more about accommodation. So those are the things you did, and you also mentioned personal number. Did you both have to go and apply for a personal number?
Yeah.
Yes.
Europeans as well?
Yes.
Yeah? And how did you do that?
Well, first of all, I think you need to register that you're now living in Sweden. That's the first step.
And you do that where?
At Skatteverket, which is basically the tax agency, I believe. They have an office downtown. You can reach it by bike or bus quite easily. And you should do that within the first 2 weeks. Well, yeah, I think it's mandatory to do that. And then if you're processed there, then you get your personal number with your letter, which is quite nice. And after that, you might be eligible to apply for a Swedish ID card, which is the next step, which is quite important.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, the same like him. But what I would like to add is that once you register yourself in tax agency and apply for the personal number, try to book an appointment for the Swedish ID, because it takes so long to get an appointment to get the Swedish ID, because without the Swedish ID card, you cannot open a bank account, for example.
Okay.
And your life will be like a mess.
So
you
it's
cannot
not
do anything.
enough to just have the personal
No.
number.
No.
You need the ID card.
Yeah, exactly.
And I might also would say that maybe it is a good idea to get the appointment, even though you don't have your personal number yet. But that one usually comes within 3 to 4 weeks, which is quite reliable. But don't wait, because the appointments might be booked out for 2 to 3 months, depending on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe get that done beforehand. And
So that's where you risk a hiccup. It's for the actual,
Exactly.
card, the ID card, and then with that you can then go on to open a bank account.
Exactly.
Yes.
And one thing also to notice is that you need a passport, not just the European ID card. To do the personal number, they really want to see the passport. So if you're from Europe, just make sure that you have your passport in order when you get here.
And if you're from outside Europe, you need to get the permit, the residency permit card with you also, with your passport.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's really good. So if you're from outside of Europe, the passport and your residency permit, and if you're from Europe, the passport, not just the European ID card. What do you wish you had? So something that you think, oh, I should have done that earlier, or I wish I'd known this.
For me, it was that the Swedish courses that the university offers, to apply for them, the deadline is quite early. I believe this year it's 15th of May. So it's really early, and I wasn't aware of it I think Erasmus students are told about that, but master program students are not. So you need to do that by yourself, and I would get that information now, just look what you want to do. And if you want to apply for them, you need to do it now for this next semester.
Okay.
So.
And they are not included for fee-paying students. So European students, because because European students don't pay tuition fees because Swedish students don't, and within the EU, and when I say European students, we mean EU students, they're also exempt from tuition fees. So you can do the Swedish course, but if you're fee paying, it will cost extra. Do you have anything that you wish you'd known or done differently?
Yeah, I would have known like the first thing if I need to read a lot of articles and papers about the program and the courses that I'm gonna study, because I struggle a lot in the first semester because of the differences in the education systems from Egypt to here. And the second thing is that to not pack a lot of clothes from my home country and a lot of other things, because I packed a lot. And I even bought like an expensive flight ticket to get 2 big bags. So I would recommend you don't bring a lot of things, just wait to come here. A lot of second-hand stores where you can buy a lot of things for a really cheap prices, especially for the winter clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can imagine whatever you packed from Egypt wasn't enough
Yeah.
for our winter anyway.
Exactly.
You wore your sandals
I
for
would
about
use
3
them
weeks.
for spring.
Yes,
Yeah.
when spring arrives. Yes. So cost of living, just very quickly, if you're a fee-paying student, you'd need to have a look at the migration agency, because you do need to have around 800 euros per month, and you need to show that you've had that for a few months, going back a certain amount of money. So that's why you can't actually apply for your residence permit until about 4 months before you're due to start, which is kind of around now or middle of April. But what do you think about, cost of living here?
I think the 800 euros are quite realistic. That's also what I would say I pay around. If I compare to Germany and other European countries, I would say for food a bit more. Actually for accommodation a bit less, which, generally I also saw my free time expenses going up a fair bit, because student life is a lot more involved here I'm used to. So there were a lot more activities that I chose to do. But yeah, around 800 euros in total, I think, is a reasonable
So you're having
estimate.
a lot more fun.
True, yeah.
Yeah.
What about
For
you?
me, I would say I pay a lot more than what I used to pay in my home country. You would say the triple, that what I'm paying now than what I used to pay. But again, there are a lot of things that you can do where you can save a lot of money and not exceed your budget. Of course,
as?
apart from the accommodation, because accommodation is something that we all pay like each other's. But I mean, like for the food, for example, you can. What I always say, I'm always saying that the supermarkets decide for me what I'm gonna eat this week. So I only go and buy the things on sale or discounts and stuff like that. So this is one of the tricks that someone can save money out of it. And also,
Did you know there's an app called Matpriskollen? So that's food price check. So Matpriskollen, that you can actually check this week's offers in various different shops. So you can kind of choose which supermarket you go and buy your stuff from, because you can see it in the app.
Oh,
It's quite a good tip to,
I do it manually,
Yeah.
on the website.
This one does it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the other trick. But what I usually pay, like on a monthly basis, is around 6,000 Swedish crowns. But of course, it's required, it's requested by the migration agency that you need to have like around 9,000 Swedish crowns in your bank account for a whole year.
Yeah.
So you need to count like 12 months.
So you need to make sure
to
you
apply
have
for
that.
the
Yeah.
visa.
But there are ways. And we have student blogs, and we have a podcast, our Instagram account, and our students run all those channels, and they have lots of tips on how to save money. So, and I think one of the key things is really cook your own food.
Yeah.
Don't drink too much beer when you're out having fun, because that's expensive.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also don't expect to have buy lunch at university, I think, if you want to go the cheap way, because else when a lot of other universities in other countries, we more or less have restaurants on campus, I would say, not really cafeterias, and they are a lot more expensive when usual student offers in other countries. So the usual way would be to prepare your own food and go to one of the many microwaves on campus and then warm up your food.
Yeah, I think someone counted the microwaves on campus, and I can't remember what it was, but it was a lot. So it's really, we see students, and there's a big building, there's a student building, Studenthuset, which is fairly new, but we see students there all the time. Kind of, the house is the library, but it's also where you'll end up, your first kind of port of call when you arrive here, because it's where you get your LiU card if you're on Campus Valla. But you can see people heating up their kind of
Yes.
the ready-made meals from home a lot there. Your accommodation, what kind of accommodation do you have?
I live in a corridor room. Yeah.
I do the same. I also
Yeah.
live in a corridor room.
What's a corridor?
Sorry?
What is a corridor?
A corridor is like a big hall, or a corridor where we have like 8 rooms. So I live with other 7 students from different continents and different cultures. So it's nice to be in a corridor because you learn a lot from each other. So we get to know about other cultures, and yeah, it's nice. We share a lot of moments, also good memories and moments. So it's like that. But I live in my own room where I have my own bathroom. And then we only share the kitchen and the common area where we have a sofa or a living room.
Okay.
And
So you have enough kind of, private space. You have enough.
Yeah,
So you can kind of, be sociable if you want to and not when you don't want to.
exactly.
Is yours the same?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think what is to be said that not all corridors are 8 people. It depends kind of in which area your corridor is, but generally like about around that number. And then you have quite a large kitchen where definitely enough space for 3 to 4 people to cook at the same time, and a small common area.
And I think a majority of our students stay in corridors, but then there are other options. And some students, especially in the second year, end up renting a flat together. But there are other options. But I think this is the most common.
I think especially for the start, because it's quite easy to get if you're abroad through Heimstaden or through Student Bostada, and then you can always change. Like it's quite easy to move. So for the beginning, it's a great choice.
Yeah. I think so. Let me go through a few things. I'm going to kind of cap a few things that you said, and do kind of chip in or interrupt me if I'm missing something. But one important thing is tuition fees for those of you who are fee-paying students. The deadline for this is 15th of May, which is actually an earlier deadline than what we've had in previous years. And it's kind of it's needed because it does take some time to get the residence permit. But don't wait till 15th of May. Just try and do it as soon as possible and get the residence permit application in. Residence permit application, but get it in as soon as you can, really, because you can only apply for the permit after you've paid the fee. And make sure you have all the papers that you need when you apply for the residence permit. And you pay the fee, you can pay it online. Either you can use the invoice to do a bank transfer, and you'll get an invoice sent out to you. Alternatively, pay by card. I mean, the paying by card is the quickest way, and you just put your application number as a reference number. But I think that's the quickest and the easiest way to make your payment.
Yeah, but if they choose to pay with the card, like how I did, it took like 3 days to pay the whole tuition fees for the first semester, because I guess it depends on the limit in each country. But for my home country, it was like I have a specific limit, so they divided it into 2-3 days. But for me, it was better because I paid less fees for the money exchange or something like that. Yeah, and also it was very convenient to do it from home. Yeah. Instead of having to do the bank transfer. The roll call, as we mentioned, very, 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 very important. You must be here for it if you're going to keep your place. So, you read the names are read out and you go, I'm here, or, you introduce yourself, but it's basically taking you off a list. And it's different for different programs. So have a look on the liu.sc/admitted page, and you will find, you'll find important dates there as well, but you can find the roll call time, date and place of your program once you find your program. But it's really, really important. You also have information days. Do you remember your information days? Do you remember when you kind of... No, it's too long ago. It's basically, a session run by our international office, and they tell you lots of good and practical things that you need for your studies and when you're here. There's one on the 17th of August at 1:30 p.m. and one on 24th of August at 1 o'clock. So have a look. Admitted page again has all this information that you need, so the dates are there. We also have specific arrival days, and these arrival days is when the international office are open. They have longer hours, so they're open 11 till 8 in the evening.
So 11 in the morning till 8 in the evening. There's also a free shuttle bus. They'll take you from the train station to campus, because a lot of people, you come here to pick up your keys, don't you, for your accommodation. Did you do that here?
No.
You'll pick yours up somewhere else?
I like for Heimstaden, you pick them up downtown at the Heimstaden office.
Yeah.
So that's how that works.
Oh,
there.
you're Heimstaden.
That's
Yeah,
right.
of course. But anyway, you have this free. Did you use the free shuttle service?
I came early. I
Yeah.
came beginning of August.
Okay.
Yeah, because as I mentioned earlier, that I applied for the visa very early, so I got it also in July, I guess, or late June, something like that. So I wanted to travel and to come early here to Sweden to prepare myself and to get used to everything. So I came here 1st of August. Yeah.
You know, I drove here from Germany, so I was kind of on my own there. But I went to the international office on one of the arrival days and got all my ID for the university sorted out there.
You sorted that out. So anyway, these arrival days are 2nd of August, 15th and 16th of August, and 21st and 22nd of August. Again, it's on the admitted page. But these are, it's good because we have extended opening hours, and I think that, you know, it helps you if you need to contact somebody. If you've applied for a scholarship, the announcement will be on the 14th of April. So have a look on the same page where you submitted your scholarship application. So 14th of April, the scholarships will be announced. So before, we're gonna open up for questions in a minute, but look up the roll call, apply for accommodation, sign up for the accommodation companies, pay your tuition fee by the 15th of May, and you will have had instructions in the email that you got sent last week. Prepare your personal finances like you did, especially if you're applying for a residence permit. Make sure you have everything and can prove that you have enough money and so forth. Also, loads of information on our blog. So, international students at LiU. Are you both bloggers? You both, right?
Yeah, I'm a blogger.
You are.
Yeah.
But there's lots and lots of tips, and there's tips like where you can get second-hand things. It's how to cope with the first few weeks here, and I think one tip that I've heard is don't have too much fun at the beginning. But I think for your faculty, you only have 5 weeks the first study period, so you need to kind of get in there straight away, or you'll end up behind a bit too quickly. Instagram account, Linköping University, lots of really, really good information again. Ask questions. It's run by students. So you kind of you've both done sessions there, haven't you? Yeah. And then there's a Fika with Us pod. You can find it where you normally find podcasts. So, if you're on Apple, for example, Spotify, you can find it there. And then there's the admitted pages. So those are the things that you need to check out. And I think, do you want to add anything before we go?
I think there's generally like the admitted page, but also like there's connected the housing page and stuff like that. Like also like personal finance is also on there, I think. And like that's most of the information you need. Like if you want to get a great overview with like links to everything that you need to know, that's the place to start, I would say.
No, I'm waiting for the questions.
You'll wait for the questions. I just want to say thank you to those who are watching this recording. Thank you for having joined us. Ask us questions. I think I have a new email address. I think it's international.student@liu.se. Ask us anything that you kind of have on your mind. It's better to have asked one time too many. Make sure it's you know what you're doing and that you feel comfortable with your choice. And also Instagram and any other way of connecting with us. We have a Facebook page as well, actually. But thank you.